So, there's this YouTube user by the name of Anarchy Ball. He described himself as a libertarian and ANCAP who makes fun of Black Lives Matter, feminists, and people afraid of liberty. He's also the baddest channel on YouTube. Yes, the baddest, because I guess he didn't realize that the 90s ended in the 2000s. Okay, his actual new channel name is Mr. Dapperton, but he used to go by Anarchy Ball, so my apologies if I end up calling him that a couple times throughout the video. According to his YouTube URL, though, his name is HXCrocker75. I have watched multiple Anarchy Ball videos, and I have a few issues with them. We're going to talk about two of them today, by the way. The first issue I have with him is, while Anarchy Ball is anti-government, he's a huge rich people apologist. This is no better seen, besides this video, Tax the Rich Socialist Cartoon Propaganda Debunked, in which he makes the claim that the government had everything to do with the economic crash of 2008, and the rich people had nothing to do with it. This logic falls apart, however, when you realize that, especially in 2008, the rich people were controlling the government, meaning, of course, both the rich people and the government had something to do with them, because it was the same people. Rich people and government together is just rich people controlling the government. It doesn't by default make them no longer rich people. But in the minds of a libertarian rich person apologist like Mr. Dapperton, he doesn't seem to know the difference. He seems to think government's only over here and rich people's over there, and they can never ever intersect, despite the fact they intersect all the time. This is especially true when we have Donald Trump as president now, who is one of the richest people in the US. The other point of his I'd like to debunk was in his response to Cult of Dusty. The video was called Libertarians Are Idiots, in which he makes the claim that, due to all the regulations we already have, and those failing, we should not add more regulations. This does not make any sense, however. Now, considering how you're an anarchist, I'd assume you'd agree with me when I say unjust authority should be replaced with just authority. Considering how the whole idea of authority not justifying itself, and as such we need to replace unjust authority with authority that can be more just in free and equitable societies, being the whole idea of anarchism, in both anarcho-communism and anarcho-capitalism, as well as other ideas like anarcho-socialism, anarcho-syndicalism, and just plain anarchism. So how do you know all of those regulations are what people like Cult of Dusty would consider just? How do you know he doesn't think some of the regulations are extremely stupid and as such thinks they should be replaced with better regulations? And even then, that's ignoring the fact that multiple regulations include loopholes. Tell me this, Anarchy Ball. Which one would take more space to write? Don't do this, or don't do this unless you're holding a Game Boy upside down on a rainy Tuesday, while at the same time, the second number in your score, that being the tens place, has to be the same amount as the multiple of 11 you have in your coin slot in rules 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then you can get the magic ship, or whatever. The second one, obviously. Therefore, it's clear that we should get rid of unjust regulations, usually getting rid of a whole bunch of loopholes in them. As such, we could add more regulations while all having less pages. This is the main contradiction of several forms of libertarianism and anarcho-communism, or anarcho-capitalism. They refuse to take in any form of nuance, and would much rather be rich people apologists, or just assume the worst of things, instead of really looking into it. Granted, multiple forms of anarchism do suffer from extreme generalizations, which even as an anarchist, I will admit. However, anarcho-capitalism suffers from this the most. And that's ignoring the fact that Anarchy Ball, unregulated capitalism, can lead to more forms of unjust authority. Meaning, you are not an anarchist. You are a rich person statist, basically. And that is evil. I'm Cifro Joe, and good night.